right, hello children. It's Pastor Matthew for our children's praise session. Here we're looking at our commandments as we're looking at our catechism questions. We are in question number 47, and we're beginning to understand the first commandment from a lot of different perspectives because we have 4 questions on one commandment. Now here's our question 47 about the first commandment, which says this: what does the first commandment forbid? And forbid means saying stop or no. What is the commandment telling us not to do? And here's the answer. The first commandment forbids denying God or not worshiping and glorifying him as the true God and our God. It also forbids giving worship and glory which he alone deserves to anyone or anything else. That's really long, so let's make it short. The first commandment tells us not to have any other gods. So that means we are not supposed to worship any other thing other than the one true God. And that means we could love other things more than God, and that would be called worship. So we could say it this way: instead of worship, let's just say the word love. So if you love anything more than God, that's called breaking the first commandment. So this is what I have taught my little girls, is that when you say you love ice cream, you can say you love ice cream this much. And you can say, I love riding my bike this much. And I love mommy and daddy this much. But when it comes to God, we have to say this. Can you do this with your hands? Can you say, I love God, and stretch your hands as far as you can? This much. Can you say that? Can you say, I love God this much? Right? That's how you know if you understand the first commandment. If you can stretch your arms out the whole way and say, I love God that much, and I don't love anything else as much as I can stretch my hands that far, then that means that you really understand the first commandment. So let me read a Bible verse to you again. We've read this one before, but it's good to remember. Deuteronomy 6:5 says this: you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. That's everything, right? So love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. It's like saying, as far as your arms can stretch, as much as you can. You need to love God more than anything else. So how do we do that? Well, our question says we need to worship him. So I want you to see this picture. There's 2 ways to worship, really important ways to worship. One is together with a bunch of people, and we call that church. So you see this child who's telling his parents, we need to go to church, right? Well, we're going to church because we love God more than anything. So we give him the very beginning of our week, we call it Sunday, and we give him that day and we worship him at church. That's how we know that we really love God, right? And also, we love God because we have private worship. Now, do you see this picture? These two kids praying, right? So also we pray privately in our heart to God, because only God knows our heart, and that's also worship. So if you do that, if you're going to church to worship and you're praying privately by yourself to God, that means you're really giving him your heart and that you're trying to love him this much. So that's our first commandment on how we're supposed to give God all of our love.